Okay. Good. All right. If others come, they would be welcome to join in. We are recording. Some of you already heard me because we have a lot of European and Far Eastern members who really want to hear it, but it's like between 1 and 4 in the morning, wherever they are. And I don't know, they were just too chicken to stay up or get up. Just kidding. And I think there's some going the other way who are way before us as well. So we'll just see how this goes with us. We'll have a recording for people in the group. We also have, just so you know, via my phone, we now have a group of 14 up on Pine Ridge. This is a friend of mine, Frank. Frank often comes and listens to the radio shows I do with people. They have no real internet reception up there. So I just leave my phone on, he can hear. And if they want to respond or ask or say something, they'll just type it in. And as far as I know, that's everybody at the moment. So we're 12 here, we're 14 there, we're 26 people. That's an 8. Infinity. Perfect. Okay, thanks for coming, first of all. I brought my star drum. We'll open in just a couple of minutes, and if anybody wants to drum along, we'll just do a little ad hoc drumming amongst us. Thanks to Gail for doing a little bit of drumming and singing before we started. Much appreciated, because I was kind of busy trying to figure out how to get people connected. Let's everybody stay muted unless, we do the question thing. And then you can unmute. Good. Let's see first. I'm looking at who's here. Some of you know me. Some of you know me from the physical realm. Some of you know me from the virtual realm. And some of you don't know me at all. So let me just take a couple quick minutes and tell you my background in this particular work we're going to be working on tonight. I am Jim Gray Wolf Petruzzi. My DNA is Romany Gypsy and Native American. Romany Gypsy is the highest percent, Native American is second. And then I got a few little bits and pieces like we all do. So my Romany Gypsy part, my grandmother was a medicine woman in northern Italy and southern Switzerland. She turned her teachings, her energy over to me. It skipped over my parents' generation. None of them was spiritual in any way. They were all pretty religious. My Native American blood, I am a member of the United Western Lenape tribe out of Kentucky. I'm quite a bit of a mongrel. I'm adopted Lakota by John Two Bears and his family. Uncle John just died about 6 months ago. He was my primary teacher. He was Lakota. He was out of Colorado at that time. But then he was on the West Coast where he took his walk. He's the number one. I mean, I could list them all. Carolyn Fiscus, Blackfoot grandmother, awesome teacher. Also taught me a little bit how to relax a little more. So she was a big influence for me. Umberto and Alberto are my 2 Mayan teachers, and I'm also adopted Mayan by their families. Paul and Sue Smith out of Belize, my Garifuna teachers, African culture, and I can go on and on. I've had, and I've lived with most of these. No, I've lived with all these people over the past 35 years plus. So I've learned a little bit from everybody. I think my primary teachings in this come from the Romany part, come from the Mayan part. And when we work in the Dreamtime part, I guess that's the Aboriginal part. but it doesn't matter because I just bring them all into me and let them mix. I like being a mongrel. My teachers always told me my purpose when this time came would be to draw people together because I could go places and connect with people that they probably wouldn't. And they're right. That's how it's kind of played out. So that's it on just the background. I've been doing this kind of work for a long time. Again, my shamanic teaching was directly from the people and mostly the Mayan folks and my Romani Gypsy folks. Shamanic knowledge, shamanic lore arose in two places. Pardon me, in Nepal and that part of the mountains, and then in the Romani part of the mountains near Romania. Those were the two places it came from. So our stock is actually the beginning of shamanism. Other cultures around the world had medicine people, like my Native American brothers and sisters, and then these things became melded over time. So, okay, enough of that. Any questions on that before we go on? I think that's all you need to know. Okay, good. We're going to do this. There's a lot of ways to do this work, obviously. I'm going to work in the way I was trained. And at some point, as we're doing this, I'll stop and we'll have time for questions, comments, but we'll pretty much hold to the way that I work it. I know some of you probably have other ways you've been trained, and that's great. You know, we all do, we all learn what we learn. But for the purposes tonight, I don't want us to get too diffuse. What's been happening, from what I see, and I hear from a lot of people, of course, um, with the number of groups I'm part of, there's a lot of people who are sensing the energy, including some of the key people who have set up this drum event. My wonderful friend Christopher from New Zealand was saying to me, "Wow, I mean, I'm getting all kinds of energy." So is Dennis, the original person who got this going. And then as I'm hearing from other people, I realize, well, a bunch of us are dealing with this. Some of us have been working this energy for a long time. Maybe you guys have too. What we're doing with this drumming event, first of all, it's never been done before. There's never been one this large. It looks like by tomorrow sometime we'll have 20,000 people involved, maybe more. It's um, it's hard to tell. We're pushing 5,000 just in our group, the Water Protectors group. There are a little over 5,000 in Dennis's group. There's another 4 or 5,000 in the other groups that have grown up. We've got groups in Australia, New Zealand, Arizona, California. And then we have the drum circles. There's over 500 drum circles. And just for the sake of trying to get some sense of how many of us are doing this, we assumed 4 people per circle. Now, some may only have 2, but some may have 7 or 8. So we thought that's a good number. It's not that the number matters too much, except when this was started, we wondered if we could beat that old thing they had before of 8,000 drums. That was what they hoped. What's that, 10 years ago now, I think, plus or minus. They didn't make it. They didn't make 8,000, but they had a great event. We're obviously way beyond that. And part of that is what's driving some of these energetic things you all may be feeling. Um, Probably are feeling, or you probably wouldn't be here, unless you're just interested, and that's fine. I'm feeling it. I guarantee you. I may have these teachings. I may have been trained in this for a lot of years. I've earned every one of these gray hairs, but I feel it just like everyone else. And right now, it's stronger than I think I've ever felt. The other person who was key in passing this knowledge on to me was a good friend in Sedona, Jim Beard. Jim took his spirit walk now, I think about 4 years ago. He spent decades working primarily with Lakota people. He was adopted Lakota um, by, I can't remember who, doesn't matter, one of their headmen and his family. So we'll probably feel his spirit tonight as well. Saturday, our Saturday here in the US will actually be when it's starting, because it's starting New Zealand and Australia. And then Sunday, the 8th, for us, is when we'll be kicking it off here in this country. So, anyway, Saturday and Sunday, I suspect you're going to feel huge energy. It may be disquieting at time, it may not. What we want to talk about tonight is some ways to work with that energy and use it as a positive tool. This ancestral work, and we see it popping up, all around us, is sometimes hard to deal with. There's a lot of healing needed, but it's also a powerful tool if we use it in the right way. So that's what we're going to work on. Okay, what's the best way to use this after I turn off my phone? So we can use it in a positive way. If it is painful at times, if it brings memories, let them come. And same thing tonight. Anything that it comes to you, oh, I know why it was on. It's for our brothers and sisters in Pine Ridge. Back on. I'll just put it on silent. Okay. Do let it come. Do not try to block any of this. Some of you have worked with me one-on-one or in small groups, so you know this. Just let it come through you. If you feel the need to cry, do it. If you feel the need to give a yell, do it. Keep your mic off, or you may panic us all. But do whatever you feel you need to do to let this come through you. Any of this stuff that you push down comes back much stronger the next time. That's very similar to grief. If any of you have ever had any work around grief or working with grief, if you push it down, it comes back twice as strong, 3 times as strong. That'll work the same with this ancestral energy. The ancestors are definitely listening to us. They're talking to us. They're looking for the big gatherings of people. They want to see all of us rising up together. What we've done for this event, in a small way, but in a powerful way, is we're rising up together. 20,000 people is no small feat. 500 plus drum circles. We absolutely lost count on drum circles. There's so many. We don't know how many now, but we know it's over 60 countries. That's enormous. It is definitely going to shake things up. It is going to spiritually make a big noise. It's going to be a tsunami of energy. I was putting this into dream time last night, and that's what I kept seeing. This tsunami of sound coming around and around the globe. Everybody in this circle is just as important as everyone else. Everybody has made a commitment to be here, to do this. For some, that was difficult. It was really difficult. Some because they've never drummed and they don't know what to do. Some because they've been feeling this energy we're talking about and they're not sure how to deal with it. And some just because they felt like, well, I can't do that. I'm not ABC, fill in the blank. And I think all of us have done that at one time or another. So the commitment is made. Ancestral energy is something that's always been around. Does anybody feel inclined to give their definition of what they think that is? Don't have to, only if somebody feels motivated. Oh, if you want to talk, if I ask things, use the little hand up thing. I think it's on here somewhere. It's under reactions. Otherwise, it's too hard to see because for some reason I'm not getting. Try to change my view. Oh, okay. That time it worked. Okay, so ancestral energy is pretty much what it says. It's the energy of our ancestors before us, all the way back, way, 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 way back. And so we've got different levels of this. We each have our ancestors, of course. And so we often have the most direct connection to those ancestors. However, we also connect into the ancestral pool, as my Mayan friends would call it, the ancestral pool. We all swim together in the ancestral pool. One of my teachers, Umberto, used to say with this big smile on his face because he loved swimming. So these ancestral energies can come from many directions. They can be difficult. They usually mean there's something that has to be faced. And there's a lot of things we have not faced as human beings over the years. We look back at our history and some of the things we've done, all of us, and we say, well, that was then and this is now. In a way, that's correct, but in a way, it's not. Those things are still there. Those events, those thoughts, those things, both positive and negative. I don't go good and bad, by the way, because I don't believe in it. But positive energy and negative energy are still there because mostly we haven't dealt with it. Some of us have worked individually on that. I know I have in great detail because when my grandmother shared with me what was coming, she made me promise I would do that. I kept that. I kept that promise as best I could. Now is the time we are asked to do this. It is part of this cosmic time we're in, this time of chaos and change. The biggest change we have ever faced as a species, the biggest change we will ever face as a species. All the prophecies pretty much agree on that, that's the time we're in. We actually, I can remember Two Bears teaching all the time. We're actually blessed. We're actually have a great gift of being here right now. All the beings that have been here before us, all the ones that could be here later, all the ones that are up in the spirit realm at this time, they could be here and they're not. It's this small collection of beings who are here that we're part of. Why? We don't really know, except we know we all have a function. And a big part of it right now is to clear this ancestral energy. Leave the positive, get rid of the dark. Leave the light, get rid of the dark. Bring love in, which is what we're doing with this drumming. Love is the key element. We also have light, sound, we have all those other things. But the healing part is mostly coming from the love. Excuse me. My allergies are horrible. I apologize. Something else is coming to me. This is interesting. Okay. I tried to spend a lot of time today just working on this, but maybe not enough. Okay. The transition from negative to positive is really important. The pieces we see around us right now, okay, this is what they want me to bring in too. We're seeing those pieces. We're seeing conflict all over the place. We're seeing people polarized, one extreme and the other. That's coming from ancestral memories. That's not just something that's now. Some of the horrors in the past, the things we haven't faced up to, are now coming to the surface. We can probably think of a lot of them. I can think of a few of them without even trying. The children who are coming back to the surface in Canada, and soon they will be in the US as well. That's a huge one. My people, the Romani people, were also almost killed off because they were feared. Native American graveyards popping up everywhere. Indigenous graveyards all over. I've been working on a couple of efforts in Australia to allow some of the remains from the indigenous people there to be treated with respect. And it's a big battle going on down there in a couple places. All these things are coming to the surface. And there's a lot of fear around this. There's a lot of, oh my God, what are we going to do? I mean, I hear it every day. We shouldn't fear this. We should work with that. We should get out of here, which we're going to do as we move through tonight, and get into here, into our hearts, and start working on it. If it doesn't come to the surface, we will never heal it. And we'll continue to have this hung around our collective necks for as long as we survive. And with the way we're going, that's not going to be much longer. Unless we choose now to make these changes, to do the healing, to make the changes. And there's a lot of events, a lot of great work going on around this. I've been part of some of them for 30 years. But right now is this key point. This drumming that we're doing is part of that. Who would have known? I didn't expect this. When we started this up, I expected a few hundred people. Drummers I know would show up. And instead, we have this huge number. That's happening in other venues as well. So let's, as we go through this, try to be accepting, but also try to be in a good frame of mind. This is a positive thing, not a negative thing. And we can talk about ways you can deal with this energy when it gets too painful, too intense, too heavy. The word people use with ancestral energy a lot is heavy. It can be very heavy energy. I know that's what I feel when I get it. I feel like I have rocks tied around my neck or something. It can be heavy. So clearing it as we go is really an important way to go. I'm going to see what's. Okay, so I got a note from Frank and his people, Pine Ridge once again. They've been working with the ancestral energy, and I'm not surprised because a lot of indigenous folks are. And he's saying that it becomes very difficult. It's more difficult on the older people than the younger people. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that before, but I'm sure he's right. The young people are taking all these changes in stride much better than the older people are. And there's probably a lot of reasons for that. But they seem to be able to go with what's going on better than some of the old white hairs like me. Now I've been trained in it, so I'm okay. I feel it, but I work it. But people who have not done any of this, it's really, really difficult. I have some people close to me who keep asking me, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. It doesn't really work that way. We can do like we're doing right now. I can share ideas, I can share thoughts. We're going to share some energy, some drums, possibly some journeying that might help us tonight. But everyone has to do this journey themselves. Then collectively, we really have an impact. That's why something like these drums is so powerful. One drum has an effect. I drum all the time. Before I do my ceremony, I drum. Often after I do a ceremony, I drum. It has an effect. Well, you can imagine what kind of effect 20,000 people drumming in a flow around the planet over 24 hours plus is going to have. That's huge energy. And so we're here for positive reasons. Okay, I'm going to stop there for the moment. Why don't we do some drumming? What do you think? I see a few people holding drums like, will you please shut up and can we drum? Okay. So I brought Star Drum. What do other people have? Okay, show your drums. Oh, nice hide. Oh, that's another one. Oh, wow. Look at the images in Toby's. That's neat. Don, oh, butterfly, rebirth. Good. Perfect. Okay, we got some powerful drums. So before we start, I'm not sure how this will work, but we're going to see. Everybody, it's a better way to do this, but anyway, Everybody unmute yourself. You should be able to. I just hit the switch. No sense drumming if we can't hear each other.
Good point.
Yeah. Okay, who wants to lead it? Not everyone at once, please. Oh. Okay. When we drum, there's only one rule when I drum that Lyman Yellowhair used to say in every lodge. You can drum heartbeat, you can drum fast, drum loud. There's only one drumming you can't do. Old John Wayne movies. No good, not allowed. So I share that for Lyman. Lyman, I hope you like that up there. Okay. Why don't we start with the heartbeat of the Mother Earth, connect us in with the earth. A 1-2 heartbeat. Just feel it, let it sink in. Go ahead, keep it going. I'm going to burn a little sage to smudges. White sage, Northern California. Wakataka, creator, God, universe, whatever name we use. We thank you for this space that you give us here. We ask for whatever understanding we need tonight to work with the ancestral energies. We ask for the ability to work with each other in a good way. This we ask not for ourselves, but so we can help to heal this sacred hoop wherever it is broken. Ancestors, join us in the circle. Mother Sky, Mother Earth, thank you for being with us. Thank you for being patient. We humans need it. Stay with us throughout this gathering and help us understand how we are to move forward. Give us any understandings for the larger drumming circle that we may pass on to them. Let it come into any one of us here, or all of us. Once again, not for ourselves, but for the hoop, for the whole circle. Help us heal that sacred hoop wherever it's broken. Takuyase, all my relations. I will see you in dream time. I am you, you are me. Aho.
Oh. Oh.
Okay, so the directions are open. We'll probably, whoops, got to keep remembering to look. We'll probably pause at various times and drum a little bit, or one or two of us will drum as we go through this. How is, okay, you can mute now until we'll have a better recording for everybody. Maybe I should mute, oh no, never mind. Just in this little time, this little beginning, does anyone feel any different than they did when we started? Just show a hand, I'm just curious. Couple, okay, good, very good. Hopefully in a good way, but it's okay. Change is good no matter what, especially right now. Okay. I want to spend a couple of minutes. All this is basic stuff, but it's important when you're dealing with the ancestors to set the stage, to make sure you and whoever's with you is in the best place they can possibly be. I want to try to get us into that space of hollow bone. Do you all know what hollow bone is or means? If you don't, just please stop me if I say things you don't. Okay, Don doesn't. Okay, good. Not good that you don't, but I mean, thank you for speaking, showing your hand. Okay, hollow bone is first getting out of here, getting out of this great, wonderful tool that doesn't serve us well when we do this kind of work, and getting here into the heart. It means connecting to the above, Father Sky above, Mother Earth below. It means allowing nothing to be between those two. That's hollow bone. Some cultures call it hollow straw. Others I know have called it open reed. Some of the South American cultures do that. Hollow bone is how I was trained, so that's what I used. So by clearing out too many thoughts, leaving this open, whatever you get from above will go right through you and down into the earth below you. Or if you're sending energy up, you can bring it up from the mother through you and out into the universe. Either way or both ways. Okay, that's hollow bone. It takes a lot of time and a lot of practice, and it's never perfect. At least for me, I should say, it's never perfect. I have known some elders who, really old ones, who could sit there and hold that space for hours. Our brain tends to step in, and you'll be there. I'll get into that. I'm in that great place. Oh, this is perfect. And then I realize, wait a minute, I'm thinking this is perfect. I just blew it. So I just start again. Ask your brain to be quiet, to be still. Tell it to read a book on the side, whatever. Ask your heart to step forward. Some of you already work in the heart. I can sense that big time. Some of you, not as much. You work more in the brain. Either one works. Ask your heart to step up now and get larger. Ask your heart to take over for now. At the same time, be talking to your brain to let it know it's safe. You're safe. Nothing's going to happen here. We're in group. I will keep everyone grounded if we do any journeying or meditating. That's what I've been trained in. But the brain has that propensity to stop something because it's, oh no, we're at risk. We're going to get killed. And that's because of that primitive part of the brain from way back in the beginning, when we were the smallest, slowest, weakest beings on the planet. And if it didn't say run fast, we became dinosaur food or whatever, big cat. That reptilian part of the brain still functions. So sometimes it says we're at risk when we're not. This ancestral work, it often triggers that. Oh, good Lord, don't go look at that. Don't look at what the ancestors did. Don't pay attention to what's coming up now. That we have to get beyond, obviously, if we're going to walk in this energy and start to heal some of this. We have to heal. We have to heal. We have to hear those ancestors. We have to feel those ancestors. That's all hard work. The part of the brain that can help with this too, you probably all know the chakras, right? Some of you, it seems like, work even more than I do with the chakras. Good. Um, do any of you know the eighth chakra? The Mayan one. Don, you do know. Okay, cool. That is the one at the base of the skull. If you really search deeply, you'll probably find a little bit written on it, but not much because they don't share it much. Most, go with the seven chakras, and then, your third eye is looking here, but also down the road and sometimes back because time has no meaning. There is no time. That's just the concept we created. So they think that seven chakras are it. In the Mayan tradition, and actually in some other traditions as well, there is an eighth chakra, base of the skull. Do you sometimes feel like a vibrating energy back there, especially when you're doing spiritual work or something has you stressed? That's that chakra triggering. In their teachings, and I've worked in this a lot, and so I've found it to be very true. If the third eye is taking the images, for them it's like, they don't use this word, but I'll use it. It's like the camera. The third eye is the camera. It's clicking the images, but it's not interpreting the images. It's not interpreting the energy or feeling it. With them, you take those images, they go back on the crown, through the crown chakra, and they go back to this eighth chakra. Okay, base of the skull. That's where it's interpreted. And that's why sometimes if you get that antsy feeling back there or flutters, it's interpreting. It's going through that data being sent, and not just from the third eye, but from all the chakras. It's like the train depot of the chakras. If you work on that and start to train that area, you'd be amazed what it does for you. You even begin to see much more with your third eye because you've taken off a job off of it that it really doesn't have to interpret what you're seeing and puts it back where the interpretation really happens. When I was first taught this, I thought, oh man, I spent all these years working with seven chakras, and now my Mayan family wants me to think about this whole new. But the more I got into it, it's actually really a powerful tool. The way to work with it is at first, just what I said. You get images. If you get some tonight, if you see something down the road, which I think some of you are going to, you're going to see some future steps for yourself or for the circle. I don't know. As they come in, work with them. Just feel them go back over the crown and back here, over the crown and back here, and then just see what happens. See what messages you get. See what you feel. Again, it may feel a little uncomfortable at first back here because that is part of it. Not painful so much, just strange and uncomfortable. Does that all make sense? Is that a good enough description? Okay. Somebody asked if that's the yogic one called Bindu. I believe they're a little different. And I'm no expert in that. I'm not an expert in the yellow traditions. I've been learning more lately because I've run into some people who I'm working with. So I can't say for sure if that's true or not. I know in the Mayan tradition, they don't share it too much. I haven't shared it much at all. I haven't shared too much of my shamanic work at all. But now is the time. I've used it one-on-one. I work with people one-on-one. I have clients. When I really need it, when something's really difficult, I'll pull it out. But those times are over. We have to use everything now. That's my interpretation of what's going on. And all the prophecies told us we're all supposed to come together, all the people, and share our skills. And if you know anything about them, different races, different people had different parts to share. Native Americans, it was the ceremonies. They were the keepers of the ceremonies. My people was supposed to be wisdom and wisdom of the natural elements, Brahmani. and on and on. Each one has a different one. So yeah, I'm going to look up that. Or if you find anything on Toby on that Bintu piece, let me know because I'm curious now too. Let's see. I haven't really been looking to see if there's questions. I apologize. I think we're okay. A couple of you can't stay too long. That's fine. Come and go as needed. There's others who may come in. They're doing some other pieces of this. Pardon me. And then they may come in later, and that's absolutely fine. I may do more of these if needed. I'm hoping the recording works because there's other pieces of the energy we need to look at. I have posted on some of them, and I think some of you have in other places as well. Okay, good. Thanks, Toby. That'd be great. Maybe you'll find it. Probably quicker than I will because I just don't know the sources in that particular medicine. We've got a lot of interpersonal issues going on, and I have posted on that some, and people are asking me to do something like this around that. I may, once we get through okay, I'll commit to that. Once we get through the drum circle. That is part of the same medicine. All of these things are interconnected. If you know hope that person wasn't sitting there too long. If you know some of the Hopi stories and legends, the spider came and wove the earth. We're in that spider web now, and all the pieces are being pulled into that web. So each and everything we see playing out is part of that web. Sometimes it's hard to see how, but certainly the ancestral energy in medicine and the trauma of the ancestral, which is coming right to the surface. We can't look away. You can't miss it. It's right there. It's so visible, so much in our face. That leads to some interpersonal conflicts, and there's a lot of that going on. I'm facing some myself, and there are some traditional ways, some indigenous ways of dealing with that. It's real. So if any of you are feeling those things, do not blame yourself. It's not you. If you have people you know well and been close to you for a long time who suddenly are just coming at you like a lion with its claws out, take it for what it is. It's not you. It's something they're going through. They're not even aware of it. This will help you also with this ancestral energy, because some of this can come at you that way too. Come at you strong and hard, especially if you felt ancestral energy for a long time, but you haven't worked with it. You haven't looked at it. You haven't let it come. How many of you have worked personally with the mirror and yourself? How many have looked into the mirror and done that deep work? Good. Yeah. Okay. Some of you have. Susan has. Good. Okay. A few of you have. That's kind of what this is like too. That's like the hardest work to do, I think. Was for me. Actually looking at yourself deep in that mirror, going deep within and seeing what you find, because you're never going to like it all. And that's okay. You got to remember the teaching that we're all made up of light and dark. You have to accept that, and then you start to figure out which pieces do I want to move forward with, and which do I leave behind. Same thing with this ancestral work. Which pieces do we carry forward? And we have some wonderful pieces from the ancestors. All the ancestors of the 4 colors around the globe. Some amazing pieces. And then we have some that are not so great. Those are the ones we leave behind. It's the indigenous tradition, the basket. You put a basket somewhere before a ceremony. You certainly do it with a sweat lodge. And into that basket, you put what you want to leave behind. You take out of the ceremony what you want to take forward. Same thing with the ancestral knowledge. You want to welcome them in. You want to thank them all even ancestors that bring up things that are painful, because they are teaching us. They are our primary teachers right now. We will not be able to do this alone. Even collectively in our numbers, we can't do this alone. It's going to take a lot more than us. The ancestors, all of them, all the way back, have created what we're dealing with today, just like we're creating what's going forward. A lot of my disquiet, a lot of my feeling ill at ease, a lot of my pain comes from thinking about what we're leaving for the 7 generations from now. And that's why if we can deal with this ancestral stuff now and cut some of those strings that tie us to the painful, unpleasant, unproductive pieces of it, we'll be saving future generations from having to do that. There'll be other things they'll face. It's never going to be easy, but they won't have to do that. What about living ancestors who we need to heal from? Absolutely. Well, if they're living, they're not really ancestors yet. In the way I'm taught, you're an ancestor when you pass over, but they are, your elders for sure. And a lot of us who are doing this work, when we grew up, we felt like oddballs, felt like we didn't fit in with our families, our communities. Oh, look at all the heads nodding. Okay. That is not unusual. That was part of the teaching. Many of us were in families and communities where we didn't fit. So we could learn that what we were to do was different. Not right or wrong, not better or worse, but different. I know I sure felt it. And until I was, long into my 20s, I didn't have a clue what was going on. I figured I was the problem. And then I realized I wasn't. Maybe I wasn't some things, but not in this. So if that also is you, that's a good thing. You've been chosen to be here now. We've all been chosen to be here, but you've been chosen to understand some of these things. Amy, the ancestors who are not ready to heal, I welcome them when they're ready. That's right, Amy, except I'm not worried about those ancestors healing. I'm worried about us healing. We can take what they have and we can decide we are going to heal. We are no longer let that affect us. It's harder, absolutely, but we leave behind that piece. We don't need it. We leave it out of our lineage now. Most of them, when you start working with them, they do become ready to heal. Most of them are just waiting for a way. But, it's not easy. We see it today. We see it in the real world all around us. We still see all that anger. We still see black fighting white, white hating red, red fighting each other, men and women at it, on and on and on. We can't make this shift if that continues to be the way. Healing this ancestral pain is one way to stop it. Well, one way to make it easier, not to stop it. It's up to us to stop it. When we do these circles and this drum circle, it's why we really wanted to keep it. And we heard from all the ancestors, many of us, not just me. We wanted to keep it pure. We had so many different groups say, oh, can we put our stuff in your group too? And the answer was no, with some discussion. Not because we don't believe in it, not because it's not great material they're doing. Heck, I'm going to be working with some of these groups at the same time. But because we want to keep that energy pure in this whole drum thing. In the indigenous way, in the way of so many cultures, pretty much every culture I was trained by, I can't think of one it wasn't. What you do is you put the energy out there. You put out that healing energy. You put out the connectivity. You put out unity. You put the love out, and the love will flow out of these drums. You just put it out there. It's like Reiki, if any of you are Reiki practitioners. When you do Reiki, you don't tell it where to go in the body. You apply it. Here, you put this energy out, and the energy goes to all of these things. So there's healing energy for all of these efforts, whether it's the children coming to the surface, whether it's the Black Sun Day that I'm going to be part of on Sunday, I guess, about black men who have been killed by guns this year. On and on and on. There's a whole host of things going on. Each one gets healed. And your own special one and yourself also gets healed, because we're all part of the sacred hoop. We're all part of that circle. No one more or less than any other. Different skills and abilities, sure. Bye, Susan. Sorry you have to leave, but we will have the recording will be available. Thank you for coming. So when
Thank
we're
you for
doing,
having me.
you bet. As we talk tonight, and as we're doing this drumming over the weekend, just put it out there. Try to stay out of your head, stay in your heart, let that love flow, and put it out to everything and everybody. Try not to think, oh, my favorite cause is, oh man, we got to do climate change. Gotta. My favorite cause is, oh, we got to help Native Americans. Gotta. No. If you can put it out to the universe collectively, you are putting it to all those causes and more. Plus yourself. The healing you get then is twice as strong. It comes back from the full circle and wham at you. Back at you. Christy's still here, I see. Christy, I worked with in Colorado, and my wife worked with some as well, maybe more than me. I think she knows the way this works. It's a powerful thing to do it that way. Everything now is unity. Everything now is circle. Everything is we, not I. That's why when we start working with these ancestors, if we can go in as we and work with them collectively, we have a lot better chance. Whoever put that note out, well put also, that some of them are not ready to heal. Amy, yeah. True. If we're going in collectively, we're working with all the ancestors. So some of them may get dragged along. That's their choice. But collectively, we're working with that energy. Okay. Any questions, comments before we go further?
Tim, can I say something real quick?
Sure. Who's there?
So this is Tammy.
Okay.
I'm in upstate New York. So, you talked about the conflict and the chaos going on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So I just learned about spiritual development. And I think especially in the United States, like we have separated religion and spirituality so much from our daily lives. And I'm talking about mainstream, out of the like developability that like
okay,
we have so many people lacking in spiritual development, and it is like a process from infancy to the elder. So yeah, I think the healing is great, but I also think like, wow, let's come in with, for the 7th generation, with a programming and teaching. We need the elders to do exactly what you're doing, progressing people to show them how to develop spiritually.
That's a good comment. Yeah, and some of it we just do, and some of it, you're right, we need to think about. No, we need to feel into it with what we share. There's an old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Some of you probably know it. Yep, some smiles. I looked for elders to teach me, I can't tell you for how many years. And I ran things for the university I was at, and I worked with Native Americans to help them there. No teachers. Finally, I said, oh, the heck with this, and I gave up. And what happened? They all appeared. Within months, I had teachers, I had the university approach me and say, do you want to start taking students down to Central America? And I got there and more teachers appeared. So it is partly that, yes. It's, and it is important. I consider myself a library. I've spent a lot of years, I've been going around the world, God, like 40 years now, and living with different cultures because we didn't have an internet. So we sat around the fire and I learned and I made my mistakes. Where was I going with that? Oh, so I've got all that stored away. I want to make sure I give all those books out before I leave. And you're right. That is the purpose of every elder, I think. At the same time, when I was younger, my hair was still black, and I was starting to learn. I would have elders say to me, the young don't want to listen anymore. They won't sit there and hear what we got to teach them. And they were right, because things have changed. So as we're teaching, we better listen too. When I get to work with the young people, and I do a lot of it, they're actually the most important ones at this point, I think. Not that we're not important, we are. Look what we're doing this weekend. I make sure I listen. I make sure I ask them, what do you think? And I guarantee you, I learn as much, probably more than they do. Especially now, these young people are coming in. Many of them, they're awake when they get here. Others are awakening very soon. We have to connect equally, because some of them are like we were when we were that age, ready to go out and just kick butt and take names. And sometimes that's okay, but other times we have to develop, like you're saying, we have to work on the other aspects. And so we can work together. That makes a great combination. And I'm finding now that many of them will ask. I wait until they ask me, and then I pull out the book they're asking about, and okay, here, it's yours. It's not for me anymore. You carry it now. And we have to keep doing that. Yeah, the spiritual piece is interesting. There is so many more of us now than there ever was before. When I was young, probably some of you, I'm probably at the top end of this group. That's okay. We didn't have any real support. None of my elders, other than my grandmother, understood a spiritual road. I knew religion wasn't for me, but even religion has changed a bit. When I finally found a spiritual road, it was like the other half of my being that I knew was missing, but I didn't know what it was. And so I do offer that up. I offer up my model, which is prayer, or action, prayer, education, and ceremony. That's 4 really important pieces. Apex came to me a long time ago. I just haven't used it until recently, because those are all important pieces. You're right. And the spiritual piece is so important. We can't just be using our heads here, especially here in the United States where I am. We've been trained, everything comes out of the head. That's so wrong. When I first started learning that, I thought, oh my goodness. I thought it meant you had to stop using your brain. It doesn't at all. It means brain and heart, brain and spirit have to work together. Harmony, equality. Just like right now, male and female have to work together. When we work with clearing the ancestors, we have to work with the male and the female ancestors at the same time and equally. Equality is really important right now. So that's a really good comment, Tammy. Thank you. What Christy put up? Oh. Yeah. Ancestors much more insistent on messaging lately. Oh, yeah. They sure are. And they're going to get more insistent. If we continue to do things like this, and one of the things I want us to remember as we drum this weekend, and I'm going to say it, and others will as well, remember the ancestors as we drum. Invite them to be with us as we drum. We want this to be a multi-generational drumming. Those who are gone, those who are here now, those who will follow us. That in itself will provide a lot of healing, because they're going to talk louder and louder. any of you who have walked this road for a while know if you get a message from spirit, from creator, from your ancestors, whatever, the spirit realm, to do something, it's your time to do this, that, or the other thing. It's your time to move. We want you out here. It's your time to step up and learn more about whatever, plant medicine. And you don't do it, what happens? You get kicked real hard. And then if you don't do it again, you get kicked harder. And that's what's going on now with the ancestors. They know this is the time we literally are choosing whether we're going to live or die as a species. I mean, it's that blunt, it's that direct, it's that much in our face. Do we stay or do we leave? The Earth Mother can do it either way. She's fine. If we all go away, it may take her a while to heal her wounds, but she will. We are deciding. And we need all the help we can get. So we need the ancestors. We need the other animals. We need all the beings around us. We need the star nations. Some of my friends who taught a lot about starlight nations. We need all that to make the choice to move ahead, and that means to advance. Many of us won't make it. Many will become ancestors. Probably a lot of you know people who've been stepping off. I've never seen so many people leave as I have in the last year. And I know I'm getting older, so that's part of my natural course, but it's way beyond that. I'm seeing people just step off, and that's because they're going to go work on the other side now. But collectively, we don't want to do that. We want to be here. We have a job to do. Like every other creature on this planet, we have forgotten the other creatures. We have forgotten that the bumblebee is just as important as we are. We've forgotten that the aspen tree is important as we are. Different roles, different things to do, but equally important. We have forgotten to talk to our ancestors. And believe me, they are listening to us big time right now. I didn't know we were going to do this part of this, but it's great. They are hearing every word being said here. They are understanding every thought coming from each one of you. A few of you are going, I'm not sure if I go about it this way. And some of you are going, wow, yeah, this is a good time to do it. Doesn't matter. Keep working it, walk your road. It'll become clear for you. My way doesn't have to be your way, but the overall energy is the same for all of us. So that's something we need to reestablish. As we do this stuff, we have to step up and be one. Stop looking and saying, well, there's a woman, there's a man, there's someone who's black, there's someone who's yellow, there's someone who's red. Stop labeling. We can know what people are, but stop labeling. We have no time for that right now. Stop. Oh, that's a Republican. Oh, no, that's a Democrat. Oh, that's a Catholic. Oh, that's a spiritual person. I mean, we go on and on and on and on. And the dark powers, and we see who a lot of them are right now too. They're in the forefront. They're right there doing things that it's hard to understand why. They love it. The more we do that, the less we accomplish. The more we fight among ourselves, the more we can accomplish. The more we come together, the more we will accomplish. Light is always stronger than darkness. I'm sure you've all heard that too. It's true. I've seen that play out for 70 years now. But it has to be light that we shine collectively on things. We can each do our own little bit. I'm not saying that's not important. It is. But when we come together like this, 1 + 1 = 3. 1 + 1 + 1 = 7. And on and on. It's synergy. It's synergy, not math. Luckily, I was never good at math, so it doesn't matter to me that that's bad math. But when we come together, the light that shines is incredible. And the light that's going to shine out of this drumming will be incredible. I guarantee it. I don't know what's going to happen. I expect some things are going to happen none of us would have thought of. Some of the live streaming, some of the things we have planned will probably glitch. That's okay. We have this set up that everybody around the planet at 11:11 in the morning is going to be drumming. I don't have to see every one of you to know you're drumming. I don't have to see your drum circles, those of you who have created circles, to know they're drumming. We know it. We'll feel it. Just again, in the heart and tap in. You will feel the drummers every minute. And it's for more than 24 hours now, because when we close in Hawaii at a sacred place, we're going to shift over to Fiji Island, where our friend Tessa is going to do another special ceremony. So it's more like 28 hours, I think now. This will be going on. Just stay open to it. Feel it. Feel the energy. It'll really do some healing on you. It'll do healing you wouldn't expect. It'll open up some things in each of us, I think, that will surprise us. Hopefully in a good way. But it's all good. I mean, all this is good. If we weren't doing this, we might be on the other side of this, trying to think how we could stop all these things. That's a place I never want to be, ever. I don't want to stop anything anyone's doing, even if I don't agree with it, because I know collectively our energy will stop it and we'll move ahead. Anything else anyone want to say or bring in? Do we need to drum again? And then I thought we would sit and invite the ancestors in and see how we can connect. Maybe journey a little bit. Have all of you journeyed? Are there people who have not journeyed? Okay. Different than meditating. Okay. Correct. Yeah, Michael's saying understanding that survival has always been on peace, harmony, and respect. Yes, and we have too much of the opposite of that now, and that's why it's we're at risk. We're going to help shift that back, and this is just the first one. I think the next piece of this is going to be on 11/11. I've been getting that from so many people, including myself. That will do something probably on 11/11. In the meantime, there's a lot of other interesting things going on. Some of them you'll hear over the weekend. Anybody else? Shall we take 5 minutes break? Anybody need a necessary break? Why don't you guys drum for a couple minutes? I want to take a quick break because I have workers down below. I had a water pipe burst. And so I have my poor dog stuck in the other bedroom. I want to make sure they're doing okay, and they might want to come in here with me. So if you guys want to drum, is Gail still here? Gail, maybe you want to sing a little bit again, or somebody else does. And I'll just
Yeah,
be
I'm
okay.
happy to sing.
Thank you. I'll be back in just a couple.
Okay.
Are you gonna do it now? Okay. Okay.
Be careful.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can. It's sort of weird. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's sort of weird, sort of bad timing, but
Sorry, but
no, I know.
yeah,
It's okay.
I'll get on there right now.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Again, for some reason, we have a few people who haven't been able to get in. Oh, well, I'm glad we're recording. I have no idea what that's about because we all came in. Boom, remove that. Okay. Okay, let's, oops. People are still showing up. Hope I had the timing right, but that's okay, whatever. It's always okay. The dove of peace. Okay. All righty. I thought that was you. So Rebecca just joined us. Rebecca will do the opening in the middle of this whole event in Sedona. In the, I think in the wind tunnels, she's going to be. Rebecca, want to share anything? We're just on break. We were going to start a little connecting in with the ancestors again and a little journeying, perhaps. Whoops. Did I scare her off? Oh, no. Anything to share, Rebecca, before we move on?
I'm sorry, I just joined in.
I know, that's okay.
I just finished getting home from work.
That's what
So
I figured. No, it's
I
okay.
caught you at the last.
Nope, it's all good. People come and go as needed. I just told everybody you're opening the 1111 drums in the middle. You're the middle anchor of this whole thing.
Hello, everybody. I'm looking forward. Thank you for having me.
A few other people have come in lately, so welcome. I see Mark is here. Yep. Okay. Gail, happy to do anything you need on Sunday. You can make my dinner. No, just kidding. Yeah, I think we're good. I think a lot of people have been offering to do things, but if we try to shift anything now, we'll probably all shoot ourselves or something. It's all set to flow, but if anyone is called to be in, we'll know and they'll show up. I found out today, I don't know who they are. I think I know who one of them is, that there's several famous drummers who are going to be drumming when we drum.
Oh, wow. Is one
Yeah.
of them Michael Spears?
I don't know. That's one I was thinking, but I don't know. I think from what I heard from one of the people who shared this information with us, I think one of them is an old insect.
Oh,
He's
okay.
he's a beetle.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, any younger people here, you will know who I'm talking about. Older people, I think Ringo Starr is one of them.
Wow.
Which is kind of neat. Ringo must be 130 now, you know.
Right.
But it's all good. Yeah. He's not an ancestor yet, so he can join. I don't know who the others are. They may just appear, they may not. Doesn't matter. It's all good. Okay. Let's spend a couple minutes. That hollow bone concept again. So sit, be still. Try to shut this engine off and let your heart get big. See it and feel it get big. Let it take over your being. It's fine. You're safe. My dogs are here to protect us all. Good. Good. Yeah, just relax with it. There's Rebecca's dog. She has a new puppy. Puppies are powerful healing energy. Good. Okay, a couple of you. Don't demand that your brain shut down. Okay. Talk to your brain. Tell it you're safe. Tell it you're going to be fine. Ask it to take a break. Good. Read a magazine if they still exist. Write a letter, whatever. And talk to your heart, bring it forward. If you have to, let your brain and heart talk. The more you're able to do this, the more of a hollow bone you can be. Ancestral will work with you much better if you're a hollow bone. From above to below. Let the energy come through. Good. Keep working. Now, don't get upset if you go back into the head. That happens. Just shift back out again. From the head into the heart. Head into the heart. Think of a place you're really comfortable if you want. Good, good. That's better. That's much better, everybody. Good, 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 good. From out of the head and into the heart. It's not thinking, it's feeling. You want to be feeling. And you want to let everything flow through you. So if you hear from the ancestors, and this is a good way to work with this on your own, set yourself up this way at night right before you go to sleep. When you're kind of in that gray area. And I can guarantee you the ancestors will talk to you more. Even more than they are now. As some of you said, they're ramping up their comments. Good. Good. That's it. Out of the head into the heart. Perfect. Now remember, as we open the door for some journeying, let the ancestors speak. Don't block it. Just let them speak. They may say something to you, they may not. May come in words, may come in pictures, may come in sounds. No right or wrong. There's a lot of them around us, I'll tell you that. A whole lot of them around us. Wait until this weekend. 20,000 drummers, we're going to have 20 million ancestors. I made that number up. Don't repeat it. That's it. Good. Keep working on it. Yeah. Into the heart. Hollow bone. Hollow bone. Okay, that's good. If a couple of you are feeling some of that uncomfortable energy, I know I am. I'm getting in the back of the skull right now. That's okay too. It won't get too intense. Just let it come. All doors open, all windows open. Good. Very good. Now, don't think about it too much. It'll put you back in your head. But just I want to remind you, the eighth chakra. That'll come into play here because that's where the ancestors go, base of the skull. Whatever you see in that third eye, let it go over the crown chakra and back and back. Then you'll start to see meaning. Maybe now, maybe later. Very good. Boy, this is a very adept group. Okay. Sit quietly and peacefully in your heart and allow whatever guides may come to you to come now. Come into your quiet place. Take you off, if they're willing and you're willing, to a place of the ancestors. It may be with a specific ancestor, it may be with a group of ancestors, it may just be a big collective ancestral journey. Remember, there's no time. So this may be past, present, or future. Doesn't matter because we need them all right now. That's good. A few of you are gone off already. Any of you new to this, I will keep you anchored. So let your brain know it's totally safe. That's my job. Rebecca's here too. She knows how to do that as well. So you'll be doubly covered. That's good. Oh, there goes a few more. Whoever your guide may be.
She's not budging. She wants to launch tomorrow.
She's a minor. You signed the consent form.
Somebody has their mic on. The mass, oh boy, the ancestors are all around us. They're all around each one of us. They're all around this circle. Let's ask them. What piece of healing can we work on together? What can we do here just a day, 2 days before we head into this massive drumming? What might they want to tell us? Some of you have flowed back. Others, as you're feeling ready, have your guides begin to bring you back. Circle down, to circle around. Whenever the ancestors are done with you. Stay hollow bone. Good. Okay. Feeling like most of you are, a couple of you are still circling back, but okay. So some of you had a lot of direct connection right with the ancestors, and some of you not so much. Does anybody want to share? No? Okay. Don't have to. No need, that's for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
I would share.
go ahead, Don.
I'd never done this before. Maybe I was there, maybe I wasn't. But once I got to that place, wherever it was, the Neil Young song, "Who's going to save the world?" Right? You heard that the kids are singing in there. Who's going to stand up and save the world or save the earth? You know, and it says this time it's got to be you and me. That song's from 30 years ago, right? But I just had a strong sense of babies and children and just, you know, the message I got is we have to cultivate the young. You know, and I felt that my path has kind of taken me that way. this journey I've been on since I'm working on Dawn 4.0. And I think it's just about, as it was spoken earlier, how do we help? Kids are coming into this world with a lot of energy. I got grandkids, I can see it. I got old souls. How do we help them direct that, right? How do we keep it from being misguided, like maybe some of us when we were younger, right? So that the message I got was really, we got to do it for the kids. And for me, I guess personally, it was just about, an affirmation. It was really an affirmation that whatever it takes, and it can be done, and you just got to have the courage done.
Okay, good. Good. It's, and I'm glad you said that you've never done this before. I think a lot of you probably haven't connected with the ancestors before, at least some of you haven't. So what we did tonight, I tried to keep, so we had some pieces for those this is new to, and we had some pieces for those who have spent a lot of time doing this work. So going up, connecting with the ancestors, hollow bone, fairly basic, but it's stuff you really need to know to do this kind of work. The Mayan, 8th chakra, those who are more advanced, I'll bet you most of you, if not all of you, never heard of that before. A couple of you may. I mean, it is out there. It's just, they just don't put it out that much. So I'm glad that we did that. I do, of course, a lot more deep work when I do things through my White Otter Academy. But this is a great way to start this few days, I think. Okay. I think Morningstar Black was the next one with a hand up.
Okay, Washtana, thank you. I'm a kind of an old hat at this work. I'm really grateful to be here, and I've never seen you in this group, but I've been really very interested in drumming and been doing that with some other people, and gonna work with Robin Youngblood when she does her little part next on the 8th. And so anyhow, I just wanted to say what happened for me here is that I live in southern New Mexico, Geronimo territory. And I live in a little community that was cursed by the Apache and left abandoned here in Hot Springs. And when I was holding my heart space open for them, because I know that in the past, a lot of community people have tried to invite them back and they won't come. And I just felt, at first there was a darkness, and then it became grayer, and then it kind of disappeared a little bit, in that just, I felt like what you were saying was important, is just to hold a space of love for them. And for that terrible stuff that happened to them here when they got run off their lands and pushed away. So I really appreciate that you, because we've tried a lot of reaching out, some of the communities have, to try to have them participate again in this little town, and hopefully this will open up a little spot for some of those willing to bring their teachings, to bring their songs and their dancing back to this community, and their drumming. It would be really a blessing and a healing for this land, which it needs. This energy needs to break that old pattern. So I was really glad that I felt like there was a heart opening there, and that there's a possibility, if we continue to hold our heart open in this community, that maybe some healing will happen. So thank you for allowing that to
You're
find a
welcome.
space to do that.
Thank you. I'm glad you're working with Robin, because she has a nice key element there too. So that's great. That's excellent.
So, oh, and guess what? I just looked out my window and a little fox walked by. Wow, that's what a wonderful bless. Ooh, I love that. Oh, gosh, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you. So we had, she came in while we were doing some work. So I'm going to give her just a couple minutes here too. I know we're running out of time, but we'll spend a few more minutes if we can. We have Carol Blodgett with us, who is a water walker and works a lot with the young people. Carol, what do you got to share with us?
Let me turn my mic on.
Yeah, that
Um,
helps.
I I completely agree with you, Dawn, that we have to start with the young people. I've been working with our children since 1992 with a program called Nurture the Children, teaching both native culture and environmental education because we are people of the earth. And they know so much, don't things that we think we're going to teach them. I find that they teach me more than I teach them sometimes. I do Earth Day art contest, and I had an 8-year-old girl. For Earth Day, we follow the theme of the year, and so they can create a poster or a diorama, a sculpture, or just whatever they feel drawn to do. And so this young girl, the theme was, what can I do? And she's 8, and she took the big catch is that everything you can't, if you're going to do a diorama, you have to find the box. Everything in your diorama has to be recycled from something. And so she took a diapers box because she had a little baby brother. And then she used baby food boxes and to make the rooms in this little house. She used straws and swizzle sticks that Dad brought home from work to make pipes. She built a little factory nearby her house and smokestacks and cotton to make the smoke coming out. It was just incredible. And then the pipes flowing down and dumping into the river, and then watching it, and then drawing and into the well, and then into her house. And then she for each room, she wrote a little tag: turn off the lights, turn off the water when you're brushing your teeth. Just every single room, she had something that she could physically do herself at 8 years old that would make a change. And so as I was contemplating this, the ancestors came and spoke with me again about a message that they've been bringing to me in dream time for quite a while now. And I've been working with right now in the open to other people, because now's the time. But in this dream, the question that I asked was,
Thank you.
Hey, somebody's got a mic on.
Don't have all the resources in the world at your disposal. You're, just using what we have. So that improvisation is constantly challenging. All right.
I got
so, okay.
it. I don't have
So,
it. Go ahead. Yeah, give us, we
so
only have a few minutes, Carol. Go
in
ahead.
this dream, the question was, how do I help awaken people to the understanding that to heal the water, we have to water. And so in dream time, I was given a medicine wheel to use. And so in this wheel, there are 3 globes that when I draw it on the land is 3 circles. And so in questioning the ancestors, what do these represent? The smallest globe is your physical body. The second biggest globe is your spiritual body. But the largest globe is your heart body. And I have to admit that I kind of argued with them a little in dream time, that that my spiritual body was much bigger than my heart body. And the answer came back is that's the problem. And that our ancestors are bigger than their spiritual body. Your spiritual body can only go so far as long as you're in the physical world because it's attached to your body. And but your heart energy can go anywhere in the universe. And so we have to work on growing our heart bodies and understanding, right. Yeah, and understanding that that what we do spiritually is carried by that energy from your heart. Because if we're not moving forward in love, respect, and gratitude to not only the water and the earth, but every living thing that comes from those elements, because mother can't have
Good. Thanks, Carol.
any life on her without the water. Everything we eat, walk, swim, flies, or grows. So great. With that, I turn it back over to you, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. In case we have some others. I got a message from Frank. This is worth a smile. We had 13 people up on Pine Ridge. They often listen to our radio shows. They listen via my phone because their connection stinks. So when they did this journeying at the end, and they had a mixed group. They had 5 young people. I don't know how young, Frank didn't say. I could ask him. Doesn't matter. And then mixed, and they had a couple of their elders there. And one of the young ones, they were talking as we were talking after this. One of the young ones said, yes, I had people come to me and they were even older looking than you. Two of the elders who were there. So, and they all laughed. So that was good. I love it. Never know what you'll get from the young ones. Good. Anyone has to leave, go ahead. I know we said 9. Yeah, I was getting quite a bit too. Any of you who are heading into your nighttime, this would be a good night to revisit this, to open that hollow bone, to work with that 8th chakra before you go to bed, because there's a lot more going to come out of this, I know. Awesome circle. Everybody here carried some of the energy. That's great. Thank you. Trying to see what else we have here. Okay, so we had, oh dear, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. Hedra? I don't know. I apologize. Been drumming for some time. Connection with the ancestors not familiar to me yet. That's great. Aren't we all learning? You darn right. Be present somewhere in some form on Sunday. And that's all that it takes for many of us. If you're in a circle Sunday, awesome. If you're drumming by yourself, perfect. Wherever you need to be, whatever you need to be doing, you'll do. Let's remember though, we do want the ancestors brought in to that whole thing. And for those of you who are here for the whole program and now heard Carol speak at the end, I swear we didn't talk because a lot of things she said I had said earlier, but we didn't do that. So it just shows verification about the young people, how important they are and how we have to listen to them, not just talk at them. So good. A couple of you came in late. Sorry, but maybe not. No, maybe not sorry. Your energy was meant to be here for a little bit, and so it was. This was all recorded. We'll share it with our other friends in the circle, especially those, as we said in the beginning, in Europe and the Far East, who it's the middle of their night, and they were too chicken to join us. So this is good. Anybody else? Any parting shots before we get ready? We have to close the circle yet. Drum with our heart, I'll be with my tree drumming. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank everyone. Thank your ancestors. Absolutely. Thank our ancestors because they are our ancestors. We are one earth, one tribe. No matter how much some people try to separate us, you can't because we're only one. Does anybody want to close the circle? I opened with the directions. Boy, everybody just keeps jumping up, raising hand. Toby, thank you. You brought in great energy. Much appreciated. And let me know about those pieces from the beginning that I didn't know anything about.
Yes, thank you for being here. It was a wonderful circle.
Mark.
What came to me was that maybe if we hold some sort of image to start with, to send our prayers to, that if we could do this collectively, would empower all our prayers into, say, one image, one symbol, or something. Maybe it hold the earth, the image of the earth, or wherever healing's needed, or something of the like, you know. I should be going to my tree because it's on an energy line to anchor my energy at Mother Earth, Father Sky, and I should be drumming to the 4 directions, or
Beautiful.
to the six directions.
7 directions for me, but it doesn't matter.
Well, 7,
4,
7,
6, 7,
7.
135. It's all good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Mark.
you.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Creator, for hearing us. Thank you, East, South, West, North, all the ancestors. So many of you here, so many of you still here. Thank you for giving us this space. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for instructing us. Father Sky, Mother Earth, once again, thanks for your patience. We are the slowest learners on the planet, we humans. Smart, maybe. Fast, no. We will continue to try. No, we will continue to grow our numbers. We will continue to put out the healing energy, the love, the light, the unity. And we ask for as much direction as you're willing to give us, especially around this weekend and what has evolved around this enormous circle of global drums. We ask not for ourselves, but so we can help to heal the sacred hoop wherever it is broken. Om Mitakuye, all my relations. I am you, you are me. I'll see you in dream time. Aho.
Oh,
Aho.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for your sacred time and energy, everybody.
Thanks, Carol, for showing up. Those good words.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got stuck in traffic, or I'd have been on earlier, but
It's life.
I got here when I was meant to be here. That's the one thing I've learned is that no matter how hard you try, you'll be where you need to be when you need to be there, and don't sweat the.
Want to make God laugh? Make a plan.
That's right.